Take immediate action measures. Repeat. The U.S. Pacific Command has detected a missile threat to Hawaii. A missile may impact on land or sea within minutes. This is not a drill. If you are indoors, stay indoors. If you are outdoors, seek immediate shelter in a building. Remain indoors well away from windows. If you are driving, pull safely to the side of the road and seek shelter in a building or lay on the floor. We will announce when the threat has ended.
Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secureteam. So a lot of stuff to talk about today. First and foremost, many of you have probably heard about this, the false incoming missile alarm that came in the form of an emergency alert notification sent out this past Saturday to all of the residents of Hawaii, which was of course later to be found to be a false alarm, according to state leaders and emergency officials who blamed it on an employee who, quote, pushed the wrong button. Well, try telling that to all of the people, such as in the video here posted to Twitter, who are running for shelter, worried that their entire lives were about to be wiped out. And of course, while this message was causing complete panic, the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency quickly responded on Twitter, stating casually, "No missile threat to Hawaii." Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I'm sure the people did as well. And you know what? This really irks me because, first of all, these are the type of people that we have in charge in a position that no less should be held to the highest standard possible, having only the top tier of worthy individuals holding said position, and all that you have to respond is "my bad"? I mean, how does this happen? I just don't understand that. And, I've been getting a lot of emails from people saying that, Tyler, this was no accident. This may very well have been a test, which is certainly not out of the realm of possibility. They have done this before, where they induce panic either by, quote-unquote, accidentally sending out one of these alerts, or a number of other means, where they basically induce panic in order to test the civilian population to see how they will react. Alright, it's a common tactic. It's been done before. And, watching this reminded me of a story we reported on last year, I believe it was, where residents out of California were shocked to hear another sort of emergency alert coming across their television sets in the middle of whatever shows they were watching, in which they heard one clip of a man talking about aliens about to invade the Earth, while other people heard a different voice warning that, quote, extremely violent times that are going to come. And I'll show you those two clips here. So listen to these again. Happened in California.
The space program made contact with, they are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military, the government knows about them. I started getting...
Alright, so if that doesn't creep you out, I don't know what would. Now, to this day, both affected cable companies, which were Cox and Spectrum, have no idea how this occurred, later putting out various theories, one of which was that maybe the messages were accidentally broadcast after they were mixed up with some radio station broadcasts. They just don't know, but this stuff happens, and sometimes there's a very good reason behind it. And so just like what happened in Hawaii, which kind of took it up to the next level, to the point where you had more than just people creeped out, you had people running, hitting the deck. Was this a test? Was this to see exactly how they would react, just so they could come out later and say, well, my bad? I just don't see how this could happen. And if this was a simple accident, then it scares me that we have people like this manning alert buttons that we actually may need one day and where you have things like this can happen, which can be boiled down to simply pressing the wrong button. So, to any of my viewers from Hawaii, I feel bad, and I'm sorry that you had to go through this, if you did. But, thankfully, it was just an accident, so they're saying, but you guys tell me what you think down below. Now, in other strange news happening around the world, here is a new UFO clip that was just emailed to me by Mr. Tom Kennedy, who captured a triangular object sitting in the skies over Scotland, completely static and still in the sky, before then turning and maneuvering on its end. The video was filmed between 11 p.m. and 12. Now, the viewer of this footage, who was just 14 years old, he's not sure what happened before and after the footage. As in, he doesn't have any memory of what happened before and after, or why it was just 42 seconds long. He says that, quote, "I do have some slight memories of seeing it, and remember that my dad and my brother were there, but for some reason they didn't want to come out and see it, as they were inside the caravan and I was out on the balcony, which annoys me to this day because as far as I know, no one else saw it." He said to me it looked like a UFO with lights on each corner, if you imagine it as a triangle, as they moved at the same time as the object rotated in the air above the sea. Now, here are a few pics, just stock photos that the viewer sent to me just to illustrate where exactly this occurred. So he's overlooking the ocean here in Scotland, and he put a red circle where the object was about. We have some what appear to be houses here right on the coast, but really nothing else in the area. And he says that he has no explanation for what this was. And as I'm showing you this sped up version here, you can obviously tell that this object is spinning. Because as you're watching it sped up, you can see it sitting still, and then it begins to turn sort of backwards, which is where you see these three lights on each corner move in perfect correlation with one another. And that, in my opinion, proves that this is some sort of object sitting up there. It reminds me, obviously, of the highly secretive, the government says that they never made it, TR-3B Black Manta, which was this super secret test craft that the government was working on back in the 80s, but later said that they didn't end up creating. However, there have been widespread sightings across the Earth. We've even seen these things up in space. And so while the government did admit that they were at least working on it, that's not to say that we haven't seen other triangular craft out in space, on other planets, on other moons, and a lot of these things could very well be of an extraterrestrial nature and source. So, yeah, amazing footage. Now, again, he doesn't remember what happened before or directly after. So, is it possible that there was some sort of interaction between the craft and the source of this footage? It certainly sounds familiar to other abduction stories that we've heard countless times. People will see these things and they will suddenly lose their memory, they will lose time, and they certainly won't remember many times what happened afterwards, and many times what happened before as well. And it'll only start to come back to them in small bits and pieces over the years, if at all. So again, big thanks to Tom out of Scotland. This is the type of UFO footage we like. I want to remind all of you to continue sending your UFO footage in, and if you do get something, either upload it to YouTube and then email me the link to the video, or you can upload it to something called Dropbox, and it'll give you a download link back, which you will then email to me. That way I can view it. Because when you send videos through email, they're compressed, they're pixelated, and I don't get the full high-res version, so keep that in mind. Now, lastly today, if you remember yesterday, one of the videos I posted, we were talking about what they're calling this alien rock that was discovered in the desert of Egypt back in 1996, which after analyzing, they found that it was nothing like any other meteorite or comet or fragment that we've ever seen in space. And that it was also, by the way, older than our planets, our solar system, and our sun. And so if you haven't seen that video, go and check it out. But we have some other news. After another couple of meteorites that fell to Earth back in 1998 have also been found to possibly be of an extraterrestrial nature and actually within them hold the key clue to alien life. So these two meteorites, one which fell in Texas and one which fell in Morocco, are believed to contain chemical compounds which has sparked scientists to question the possibility of extraterrestrial life. And so now 20 years later, after they were discovered, it is believed that they contain these chemical compounds which contain both liquid water and a mix of complex organic compounds, including hydrocarbons and amino acids, which are obviously the building blocks of life. And it's basically as you would think of a fly captured in amber. You know, you can get those amber rocks at museums, or you can order them offline. Some of them contain flies, insects of all different kinds that were trapped in this amber back in prehistoric times when there were dinosaurs walking around. And so that is basically what these rocks are. They have these chemicals in there that are captured that may very well be from another alien planet that had life on it. And what is also strange is that both of these rocks, one found all the way out in Morocco and the other found in Texas, they believe may have crossed paths at one point because they are basically identical in their chemical makeup and what's inside them. And so obviously, here we have another possible idea of how life is being passed around via asteroids throughout space, throughout the cosmos, and possibly how very life started here on Earth. And that maybe all it took was one little pebble falling down from the universe to later spark everything that we see here on the planet today. So, very, very interesting. And that is why I love this work so much, and I know you guys love it too. It's extremely fascinating. So with that, I want to thank you all for stopping by. Be sure to stay tuned if you want to get more news about the strange things happening on and off of our planet. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, visit our online merch shop, and I will see all of you back in just a bit. Stay safe, guys.